Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the first Bracketology of March, and what a coincidence that it's on March 1st, and man, I'm so freaking excited. The calendar is now turned to March. It is time for March Madness. Regular season's ending for a lot of teams and stuff like that. We still got about a week to go for most teams, but conference tournaments are right around the corner. I'm so freaking excited for this, but before I get into this Bracketology with the newest one, let me just say thank you guys so much for all the support that I have been getting on my recent videos and stuff like that. We're at almost 2,400 subscribers, and I said that if I get to 2,500 subscribers by March 15th when I do the drawing for the NCAA tournament ticket giveaway, I'll do 2 NCAA tournament ticket giveaways. And right now I have all the current the people who have messaged me on Instagram and done all that, listed told me their favorite team, told me the location that they want to do, and all that. So if you haven't done it yet, just let me read the description. There's instructions on how to join the giveaway in the description. You gotta follow me on Instagram at AlexPrice24, and then tell me what your favorite team is and the closest NCAA tournament location to be entered, and send me a screenshot of you being subscribed. That's all you got to do. Thank you guys for all the support. I've been getting like almost 2,000 views, or over 1,000 at least, per Bracketology video, and hopefully we can just keep it growing. I've gained over 500 subscribers over the last 30 days, so I can't thank you guys enough. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the Bracketology. So after another crazy week of college basketball where Duke lost, and there was a lot of other teams like Maryland got blown out by Penn State of all teams and stuff like that. Louisville lost to Boston College a couple of nights ago. Joe Lunardi has released his newest update for Friday, and I think next week he's going to start doing them daily. It's like once the conference tournaments start up. I don't know if it's next week or the week after that, but he'll be doing them daily soon, so I'll be pumping out that daily content for you guys. And yeah, so now Virginia is now the #1 overall seed. I know Duke has been there for a couple of times, but they just lost to Virginia Tech. And then Gonzaga is the 2nd overall seed, and then Duke's over there in the South Regional, which I'll be going to for the NCAA tournament. Hopefully I'll be vlogging it, not 100% sure. I'm going with my dad, so we'll see how that goes. And then Kentucky is the other #1 seed right there. But just a quick update here. Colgate's new to the field. Baylor remains in 8 after coming back against Texas and winning in overtime. Maryland's now down to a 5, as I mentioned, when they lost to Penn State. Nevada takes their spot on the 4 line. TCU is now down to an 11 after losing to West Virginia. Louisville's now down to 7 after losing 3 in a row and like 6 out of our last 8 or something like that. They've just been falling off the map ever since that comeback loss against Duke. And UCF is now up to a 10. Over here in the West Regional, we got Washington now down to an 8. Not sure why. I don't think they've lost recently, but it may just be other teams moving up and taking their spot. Ohio State is now up to a 9. The play-in game, as you can see right there, is Arizona State and Utah State. Villanova is now up to a 6 seed after beating Marquette at home last night. And Kansas is now up to a 3. Wofford is now up to a 7. I really like that team this year. And then we'll go down to the Louisville Regional next. We got Auburn and Texas there at the 9. Duke is the #1. Then Clemson and Seton Hall there on the bubble, as you can see. Lipscomb is now down to a 13. St. John's is now down to an 11 after losing, I think it was at home to Xavier yesterday. That was not a good look for them. NC State is now up to a 10, taking their spot on the 10 line. Northern Kentucky is new to the field, representing the Horizon League. Then we have Kentucky is the 1 over there. Syracuse and Florida bringing up the 9. Virginia Tech remains a 5 after the Duke win. I don't know if they'll be moving up or not. We'll see what happens with that. Then Belmont is new to the field as the OVC representative over Murray State. Marquette is now down to a 4 after losing to Villanova, as I mentioned earlier. Minnesota is now new to the field, even though they're like as an at-large team. I don't know what's exactly happened with them. They're a crazy case on the bubble. Then everybody else kind of remained the same. So not a whole lot of movement since the Tuesday update. But, I mean, it's good enough. I really like how the field's starting to shake out right there. And then you can see, if you're entered the ticket giveaway, you can see all the matchups and stuff like that based off of your closest NCAA tournament location. They're grouped right there in the pods. You'd get to see, I'd buy a ticket for 1 session, which is 2 games, and you get to pick the session if you win. So if you, we'll wait till Selection Sunday so you can pick the one that you want, but you'll know on the 15th beforehand if you'll be able to go or not. And over here on the bubble, last 4 buys are UCF, TCU, Alabama, Minnesota. Last 4 in the playing games, as I mentioned earlier, Arizona State, Seton Hall, Clemson, and Utah State. First 4 out are St. Mary's, Temple, Dayton, and Butler. And then the next 4 out are Furman, San Francisco, Murray State, who may be getting close to an at-large bid, as you can see right there, and then Georgetown. So as you guys know, if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, I go on Brackify.com and create an interactive bracket for you guys to go ahead and vote and stuff like that. I created it like maybe 15 minutes ago. Already has 412 views, so you guys are crazy and looking for it and stuff like that. I'll put the link for how to vote in the description, so make sure you check that out and make your voices heard. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the predictions. So first off, we definitely have Virginia beating Colgate here. It's not going to happen again this year, even though Virginia was the #1 overall seed last year, and we all know how that turned out against UMBC. Colgate's not going to do anything this year. Then Baylor, I think, will beat Ole Miss. Then we have Maryland and New Mexico State. Maryland, I mean, I was high on them. I thought they were doing pretty good with Bruno Fernando and like Anthony Cohen and stuff like that. But then they go and get blown out by Penn State by like 15 or 17 or something like that. But I still like them beating New Mexico State. Don't know a whole lot about the Aggies this season, but I think Maryland's a better team as of right now. And Nevada will beat Yale. Then we have Buffalo beating TCU. Nobody's picked TCU, which is kind of crazy to think about with Buffalo being up there as a mid-major. Then we got Purdue beating Vermont. Louisville, I think, will beat UCF, though. I mean, if Louisville loses in first round in the ACC tournament, I don't know how far they're going to fall because they'll probably beat Notre Dame this Sunday. I'll be going to that game, but I won't be vlogging. It's for a work event. And then and then they'll definitely lose to Virginia on the road. But then the ACC tournament, I don't know if they're going to win a game or not, so I don't know how much they'll fall if they don't. And then UCF, I mean, they're doing pretty good for the American League, but I think that Louisville's a better team. I'm going to go with them there. Then Tennessee will beat Radford. Kentucky will beat the winner of Iona and Norfolk State, which I don't really care who wins that one. Then Tyus Battle and Syracuse will beat Florida. Then we have Virginia Tech beating Belmont, Marquette beating Hofstra. Then we got Kansas State beating Minnesota. I know I'm kind of going with the chalk here. Then we got Houston beating South Dakota State with Mike Daum. I'm going to go with VCU beating Iowa. Iowa has played so many different close games recently, but then I think they got blown out. I think they got blown out by like Ohio State this week, I want to say. I just don't really have a whole lot of confidence in them right now. They got super lucky with all those close games, but I think that VCU is going to pull off the minor upset there. And we got North Carolina beating Loyola Chicago, Gonzaga beating the winner of that playing game. Then I'm going to go with Washington here beating Ohio State. And I'll just mention Ohio State beat Iowa by like 20 or something like that. But the Ohio State's performances this season just have not been convincing me that they're a really good team. I like Washington, and I guess it's an upset here because most people are picking Ohio State. And we got Florida State beating the winner of Arizona State and Utah State, which I think would be Utah State. I like them. I know the metrics love them and stuff like that. They don't really have a chance to get very many quality wins, though they play Nevada this weekend. So, I mean, there's that. But I like Utah State winning that playing game, but then I like Florida State beating them. And we got LSU beating Old Dominion. Villanova, I think, will beat Alabama, and then Kansas will beat UC Irvine. And Wofford will beat Oklahoma, though a lot of people are picking Oklahoma. I'm kind of surprised by that. I think Wofford's a much better team at this point. And Michigan will beat Montana. Duke will beat Sam Houston State. And then I'm going to go with Auburn beating Texas here. I know Auburn's been struggling. They just lost by 27 at Kentucky and then barely beat Georgia. But Texas has also been struggling. I don't know when Kerwin Roach is going to come back. And they just blew a huge lead to Baylor on the road. That would have been a good win for them. But they weren't able to get it done. I'm going to go with Auburn there. Then Iowa State will beat the winner of Clemson and Seton Hall, which I think would be Clemson. Then I'm going to pull off the upset here. This is my big first-round prediction for an upset. I'm going to go with Lipscomb beating Wisconsin. I watched the game with Wisconsin and Indiana over the I think it was like either Tuesday or Wednesday night. I want to say it was Tuesday night. But Wisconsin just looked awful. They couldn't get anything to go. Nobody was really there to provide a spark, and I like Lipscomb as an at-large team earlier. If you've been following me along throughout the season, you know that I like Lipscomb. I'm going to have them pulling off the upset here against Wisconsin. Then I'm also going to go with St. John's pulling off the upset here against Mississippi State, even though I just trashed them a little bit. They just lost at home at Xavier, or lost at home to Xavier, not lost at home at or whatever. But I really don't like Mississippi State. They've been really inconsistent throughout the course of the year. You never know what you're going to get from that team. So I'm going to pull off the upset here with St. John's. We got Texas Tech beating Texas State, with Cincinnati beating NC State, and then Michigan State beating Northern Kentucky. Then for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Virginia beating Baylor, Nevada beating Maryland, Purdue beating Buffalo, and then Tennessee beating Louisville. Though these two teams played earlier this season, I think they played earlier this season. I think Tennessee won that. I'm going to go with Tennessee there. Then we got Kentucky beating Syracuse, though somebody picked Syracuse to win that matchup. And we got Marquette with Marcus Howard beating Virginia Tech, even though Virginia Tech just proved that they can beat anybody, but they also beat Duke without Zion. I know it's not an excuse for Duke, but, I mean, yeah. And we got Houston beating Kansas State. I think I had Kansas State pulling off the upset last time around. I'm going to switch that up and go with Houston this time. We got North Carolina beating VCU, Gonzaga beating Washington, then LSU beating Florida State. Then I'm going to go with another upset pick here. I'm going to go with Villanova over Kansas. I know a lot of people have been this was a Final Four matchup last year, I think. And I know a lot of people have been hating on Villanova because they just had that 3-game losing streak. But they just proved that they can beat the big gun. They just beat Marquette. And then Kansas, I mean, they're up to a 3 seed now, but I just don't think they're a very good 3 seed. I'm going to go with Villanova pulling off the upset there, and then Michigan will beat Wofford. Then we got Duke beating Auburn. Then we got Iowa State beating Lipscomb. Lipscomb's little Cinderella run's going to come to an end there. Same with Texas Tech. They're going to beat St. John's. And then Michigan State will beat Cincinnati. Then for a spot in the Elite Eight, we got Virginia beating Nevada. I'm going to go with an upset pick here. I'm going to actually, no. I don't really know who I'm going to go with here. I guess I'll go with Tennessee with Admiral Schofield and Grant Williams. They've been the better team all year long. I guess I'll go with them there, though I can see, as you could tell from my hesitation there, I think Purdue could win that matchup. Then I'm going to go with Kentucky here beating Marquette. Even though I really like Marcus Howard, I just don't like that matchup for Marquette. I'm going to go with Kentucky there, and then same with North Carolina. I think they'll beat Houston. Then we got Gonzaga beating LSU. Then I'm going to go with another upset pick here. I'm going to go with Villanova over Michigan. Now, a lot of Michigan fans are going to be upset with me. This is a rematch of last year's championship game, but I really like Villanova here. I think that they can probably stifle Michigan's offense, who hasn't really been that good this season. I'm going to go with Villanova there. And we got Duke beating Iowa State, and then Michigan State beating Texas Tech. And for a spot in the Final Four, we got Virginia beating Tennessee. Though most people are picking Tennessee to win that matchup, I think Virginia's defense is going to shut down Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield. I guess I'll throw in Jordan Bone there as well. And then DeAndre Hunter's going to take over. I like Virginia going to the Final Four, though. They're not very Virginia's not a very good tournament team, but I think they'll turn it around this time around. And we got Kentucky beating North Carolina. Kentucky's been a better team all season long. I think, though, North Carolina's been turning it on here recently, and I picked them to win on Tuesday's bracket. But I really like Kentucky to win this matchup. Then we have Gonzaga beating Villanova. I know that it would be pretty cool to have a 6 seed in the Final Four, but I really like Gonzaga there. I can't go with all number 1 seeds, so I'm going to go with Michigan State here. I know they've been dealing with injuries throughout the course of the season, but same with Duke. They just haven't been the same without Zion. I don't know when he'll be back. If he'll be back, I'm definitely going to go with Duke winning this matchup, but we don't know when he'll be back, and as Duke has lost like 2 of their last 3 games, they're just not the same without him. So I'm going to go with Michigan State there. Then for a spot in the national championship, I'm going to go with what everybody else is saying. Kentucky 4, Virginia 0. I'm definitely going to go with Kentucky moving on to the national championship. Then I'm going to go with Gonzaga beating Michigan State. Then in the national championship game, Kentucky and Gonzaga, I'm going to go with my Big Blue Nation. I haven't picked them at all this year to win the national championship. I'm going to go with them now. I know they just struggled against Arkansas, so I know a lot of people are going to mention that in the comments. But I think that they were trying to overlook Arkansas and head over to the road game against Tennessee, which tomorrow, that's going to be huge. Hopefully Kentucky can get the victory there. I'm picking Kentucky to win it all. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're not already. Make sure you enter the NCAA tournament ticket giveaway if you haven't already, and I'll put the description on how to enter I'll put the details and instructions on how to enter in the description. Thank you guys for all the support you've been giving me recently. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all later.